Welcome back to the Mr. Kizo Show, Kizo Corner Show. I got a very special guest, good friend of mine, founder of the Fox Club.
Fox Hunters
The
Club.
Fox Hunters Club. We got Miss Brownie Marie in the building. Give it up for her.
What's good? Thank you.
How you doing, Brownie?
I'm well. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So we connected, and you told me about this new app that you have out. I don't want to mess it up, so I'm gonna let you explain it because I love the way you explain it because we're gonna talk about this. But please explain what you got going on right now.
Yes, I'm very excited. It's a brand new dating app, the Fox Hunters Club. Mm-hmm. It is for millennial women seeking older men for committed, serious relationships. No sugar baby, sugar daddy, transactional type of relationships. And honestly, I'm the first to do it. Yeah. I've launched in New York and New Jersey as of April 24th. Okay. So we're off and popping. It's going to be more cities, eventually nationwide.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Now, why did you do the millennials and the Gen Zs? Why did you make that mix? Make it a mixture of that.
Yep. So I want the millennial women. So I want women around 30 and up, confident, know what they want, know what they don't want, ready to settle down, ready to find a partner, a real life partner. So I feel that targeting women in their 20s, I'm probably not going to get that. So I'm actually going to avoid Gen Z in my marketing and et cetera. That is not my target. And my preference has always been older men. Again, I'm talking about folks who are ready to settle down, who know what they want, who can value a good woman by their side, know what that means, know what that provides for them. Takes a bit longer for men to figure that out in general. So I'm looking at men. Right. So Gen X and up is really what I'm targeting for men, so about 45 and up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, we were talking earlier, right? And we were talking about apps, and I was mentioning that I'm thankful that I have never had to get on a dating app. I prefer meeting people in person.
Yeah.
What do you think apps do today that makes us want to be on apps rather than meet a person? Like, you know, because I know back in the days we used to go out and we used to meet people in the street, bars, clubs, libraries, whatever it was, supermarkets, and, you know, you shoot your shot. You know, you may get shot down, but you shoot your shot. Now it tends to be, you know, things like Tinder where you swipe, and then you like, and then you swipe, and then you wait for people to hit you back. And I know actually a good friend of mine back in the days, he used to go on Tinder to look for vulnerable women so that he could take their money.
Oof.
And I was like, dude, like you're gonna end up in jail. I mean, like, you know. So I know your app is probably way different than that, but how do you think your app is going to affect people, or not even affect people, but play into their hands and want them to join your app?
Yeah, so there is still the swiping aspect, but hopefully the quality of folks will be a bit different because of the types of folks I'm attracting. For example, there isn't an option on there that says, well, what are you looking for? You go on a lot of these mainstream apps. Most of them are owned by the same company, the Match Group. I'm talking about OkCupid, Plenty of Fish, Hinge, The League, Tinder, as you said, etc. It says, what are you looking for? And you can put casual connection, a hookup, a friend, a buddy, or you can put marriage, long-term. There's no options like that on my app. You're here for one reason. And it's to find that serious relationship, that partner. So that's one thing that I've removed. As far as apps and meeting people in person versus going online, I always felt like there should be a balance. You should always still go outside, go to networking events, go to bars if that's your thing, go to art galleries, go et cetera, and scan. See if you see someone attractive, see if you see a ring on their finger, shoot your shot, as you said. The good thing about the dating apps is the volume of people. So, you know, I work from home. There might be a day, if I were still single, where I'm not planning on really leaving the house, but I can still be active, still try to find a partner by just going online. Another thing that I like is you can see information right up front. You can see how old they are, how many kids they have. People can put in what they do, where they live, what they're looking for, their interests, right up front. So you're kind of cutting out some time where you may not get that information in person right away.
But what if they put in false information?
And people do. Always verify. Always verify. You see the information on the profile, always still circle back and ask those same questions. Okay. But it'll help you eliminate if you see something that you don't like right up front.
Right. I've never been on the app. I remember when Tinder came out, everybody was on Tinder. They was like, Keith, you need to get on Tinder. I was like, for what?
Right.
And you just need to see what it's like. I don't need to see what it's like, bro. I'm already in a committed relationship. I'm good. Yeah. So there's no reason for me to jump on there. But, so how do you think your app, I probably asked this question already, but how do you think your app is going to fare next to these other apps? If you've done something with your app that, I know you said is for committed relationships. Yeah. And truly younger women love older men. It's just that because men take a little more time to mature. Right. So exactly. By the time they mature, the lady is way younger. She's matured way, way much, way before they have. Yep. How do you think that's going to affect, I'm just trying to think because I know with Instagram, and I know I got a lot of friends, right? And they, especially one of my friends, she was like, I want to get out here in the dating world, but it's so hard. And, she will never go on an app at all, okay. Right? But she still has the 90-day rule. Okay. Right? So yeah. I'm like, I don't know about the 90-day rule these days. I mean, that's back in the days, but nowadays you tend to have guys who just go on Instagram and kind of search out these females on Instagram. Yeah. And usually, I know one good friend of mine, he was like, I just got me a 21-year-old. And I'm like, bro, you're 55 years old. What the hell you doing with a 21-year-old? What do you guys have to talk about? And he says, well, we ain't doing a lot of talking.
He ain't there to talk, right.
And I understand that, but at some point, for me, I know when I was coming up, communication was key. Yeah. Relatability was key. I need to be able to relate to you. I need to be able to talk to you. I'm not a big phone person, so I can't sit on the phone for 30 minutes. I can't sit on the phone for 15 minutes if you ain't saying nothing. Right. It's just, okay, all right, let me go do that and just hang up. But, right. To me, it's I guess because I'm old school, I don't know what I'll be doing if I wasn't married. I'd probably be on an app, or most likely I probably wouldn't be. So you said you created this during COVID? You just during COVID,
around? And you said a couple interesting things that I wanted to
touch on.
So the timing of this is really kind of perfect, frankly, because millennials, I myself am a millennial. We are, if you haven't settled down by now as a millennial, you're basically ready to, especially if you're a woman. Mm-hmm. I'm just generalizing here. But you're finding, and my friends and my family that are millennials are finding, okay, it kind of sucks out here. Yeah. Because even the men who are our age, let's say you're in your mid to late 30s, men in their mid to late 30s are still acting like they're in their 20s as far as the way they want to move. They don't want to go on dates. They don't want to spend the time getting to know you. They're looking at the 21-year-olds, whatever the case, on Instagram. They got that texting culture, that hookup culture. Unfortunately, our society is a bit slid back when it comes to that dating game and that interaction and the courting. All of that's out the window, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. So women are finding, okay, this isn't how I want to be treated. Mm-hmm. This isn't how I'm going to get to know you. This isn't what I want. Mm-hmm. But not everyone thinks like me, where why don't you try someone older? Right. And just putting that and the immediate thought is, I don't want to be a sugar baby. I'm not looking for a sugar. That's not what I said. Yeah. I said, why don't you try someone older? Right. So it's just now clicking. And again, I'm the first one to do it. So it's going to be a lot of that education piece. That doesn't have to be the basis of the relationship. Mm-hmm. Do you want someone who wants to get to know you, take you out, you value similar things as far as maybe the way you were raised, or their values around what the relationship should be, that dynamic? he's going to be older. He's not probably going to be 30-something years old. It's crazy. Facts. So I think the timing is perfect as far as where millennials are, what we're seeing online and the images we're getting in the media versus what we actually want. Then on the flip, the Gen X guys, that probably was like the last generation who even knows what courting is. I think if we did like a survey on a New York street right now and went up to guys in their 30s or younger, they don't even know what that means. Yeah. They can't give you a definition or what that looks like. Maybe they never even saw it.
Right.
So you're really looking at a guy Gen X or older, if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, because I think courting now is, yo, I'm in your DM.
Right.
You know, let's go out. Let's do this. We go out to a club and you buy a whole bunch of bottles and, you know, or you go to a strip club, you throw a bunch of money on the floor, then, you know, people are like, oh, he balling. He got this, he got that.
And that's what people care about. And it's lazy and it's corny. And people, like you said, just want to slide in DMs. Why don't you come through? No, I'm not coming through anywhere. Or the laziness of, let me know where you at. I'll come. No, like, you need to plan a date. It's corny.
Yeah, because you know what? And I want to bring this up because, I mean, I know nothing about it, but I know people who go through it. And I'm not saying generalizing all women, but today's women are looking for the bag.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So they want to go out, you know, you hear them talk about, don't take me to Cheesecake Factory. Well, I don't know, see what's wrong with Cheesecake Factory.
Nothing wrong.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's a good restaurant, it's a good restaurant. You know, if one day you might not have it to go to Brooklyn Chop House, so you go to, you know, Cheesecake Factory, and then maybe the next date you go to Brooklyn Chop House.
Yeah.
But everybody, for me, when I look at it, is everyone is chasing the bag, and everybody's looking to see how much money you got, what car you drive, and they determine the relationship based on how much money you have, and that doesn't do anything. You know, it doesn't matter really, because if a man is not mature enough or he's set in his ways, he's just going to be set in his ways.
Yeah.
You know, for me, you know, I've been with my wife for 28 years, so we going on 30 years. And when I met her, she was living in the basement apartment. I was living in the basement apartment. There wasn't no, oh, you don't have this, you don't have a car. She used to get on the train, and her only thing was, you better be at the train station when I get there. Don't just leave me out there. And I used to get to that train station early. Sometimes I wait a half an hour, but I was there. Once she got off that train, she would see me. And then obviously we grew together and we got older. And then there was times where, I remember a time where I didn't, you know, we was just starting FUBU at the time. I mean, it wasn't just starting it, but we were in the middle of starting it. But we weren't getting paid. So I didn't have any money like that. I didn't have a car. I didn't have any money. And I remember I had to quit my job to work FUBU full time. And I was behind in my rent. And I was like, man, I don't know what I'm going to do. I ain't got this rent. And she was like, how much is your rent? I was like, $450. She was like, here. You don't get that now. And this is in the beginning. This is in the beginning of the relationship. This might have been about 6 months in, 6 to 8 months in.
Yeah.
And she gave me $450 for my rent. And then, you know, slowly but surely we grew together. We came out the basement to apartment, and then, you know, from the apartment to the house and things like that. But, you know, I just feel like a lot of women are just really about the bag. They don't really, you know, and this is my thing. I understand the ballers and all of that, but you know what makes the world go round? The 9-to-5ers. Yeah. The guys who work at the MTA, or school teachers, or bus drivers who got pensions coming, who take care of their families, who send their kids to college. Yeah. You know, to me, those are ballers, for me, because those people make the world go round. You know, not everybody's going to be a baller, but most people are going to have a 9-to-5. Right. So what do you think about just those women who are just looking for that bag and that material stuff that they, you know, oh, if he can't buy me this, I don't need him. Or the new shit is, yeah, you know, I always got a side piece on the side. So if this one ain't doing this, And I think men, from my point of view and the people that I know, they don't trust them.
Yeah.
The women don't trust the men.
Right.
And how do you get past that?
You got to go older. It is definitely a generational thing, quite frankly. Not to say there's still some older
older guys.
There's some older men that are still playing around. Maybe some older women too.
55 years old. He's talking to a 21-year-old.
And he shouldn't be. He shouldn't be. Again, if you want to play. I'm not going to hate on two consenting adults playing. But the fact that is really interwoven in our culture now, especially black culture, is pitiful to me. Now, if you are a woman saying you have to do this, and this for me, okay, what do you have to do for him? So now we're talking about a transactional relationship.
Yeah. And that's what most of these relationships are now. It's transactional.
If that's what you want, then that's what you want. But that is not anything, in my opinion, lasting, stable, healthy. That is not something that is a long-term, should not be, in my opinion, a long-term goal. That's a hustle. And I'm not knocking nobody's hustle. Get your bags, get your cash. He's paying your rent. He's doing, okay, that's great. Is that going to last forever? What are you doing for yourself? This guy decides to cut you off. Have you set yourself up? Are you investing that money? Are you building a business off of that? I know so many girls, unfortunately, getting that temporary bag, nothing to show for it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on now.
Material stuff.
Come on, you're still living with your mother, and you got all these designer bags. Like, this is silly.
No, I tell you a crazy story. Is this chick on Instagram, and my man was talking to, and she's beautiful girl, but he was trying to figure out, there was like a little hiccup with her. He was trying to figure it out. Like she would never invite her to her house. But she always wanted to be at his house. She always wanted to do, all these grandiose things with him. And come to find out, she lived in an apartment with like 5 other girls, in a 2-bedroom apartment with 5 other girls. They had 1 bed, 2 blow-up mattresses,
wow,
a couch and a table and a TV. That was all the furniture they had. But if you see her on Instagram, she got every designer bag, every designer shoe. She had like 4, 5, 6, 10 red bottoms and just, all of this stuff. And Balenciaga this and Gucci that and Louis this. And I mean, deck to the T, Christian Dior, blah, blah, blah. Just a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
But you're living in an apartment with 5 other girls.
The priorities.
And I'm like, so girls used to always be like, I need this and I need that from a man. But it's like you said, what are you bringing to the table?
Right.
Because I know what I could, like, and I used to go through that when I used to be a property manager back in the day. So I was making a pretty good, decent amount of money. I was making like almost $50,000 in 1995, right?
Yeah.
So when I was dating prior to my wife, I used to just run into all the wrong girls. Like, oh, I need my handle. Well, how much your handle? You go dig in your pocket. How much your handle?
Right.
600. Huh? 600 what? $600?
Especially in the 90s.
Oh yeah, because I'm getting these bundles and this and that, and I'm like, wow. So I was like, okay. Or I'm getting my nails done. How much are your nails? $250. What? And I used to be like, why do I always attract these type of girls? Because can I just find one that's just has her own thing? And I grew up back in the days with women who were like from the 80s. So I used to call them like drug dealer girls. So everybody had this drug dealer mentality. Like, oh, I'm cute. I got a fat butt. This, that, and the other. You got to do this. You got to do that for me. Yada, 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 yada. Right? So then you get to the point where it's like, you really want somebody who has their own that can do, because if you fall or if you stumble, you want your woman to still be in your corner. You don't want her to discard you like, oh, okay, well, his money's getting short. Let me get a new one. But yeah, it was like that. So I personally was like, I want an independent woman. I want her to have a job. I want her to be able to do her own thing. And handle her own bills, and I can contribute to whatever she's doing or whatever she has her shortcomings, whether it's material things or whatever, I could provide that for where she could just take care of stuff.
Yeah.
So when I met my wife, and I tell this story often because I met my wife and I'm over at her house and she's like, babe, I'm going to get my hair done. I was like, shit, let me see if I got money.
Right.
Let me see if I got enough money on me here, see if she asked me for some money. And then I was like, okay. And next thing I know, I heard the door close. So I got up and went in the living room like, oh, she asked me for no money? So I was like, okay. So she came back and I said, I thought you was going to ask me for some money. She was like, I just got to wash and set. It's $25, I think it was at the time. She was like, $25. I could do that myself.
Right.
Impressed. Then next week she said, I got to get my nails done. And this one she had a real nails, which was like long as hell. I thought they were fake, but they were all real. She said the same thing. Heard the door close again. So I was like, okay, she asked me for no money for nails. I was like, okay. So I was so like, I was like, oh man, I think I found her. Like, I went out and started buying designs. Like, baby, here, you ever had Gucci before? Here, let me get you the Gucci bag. Like, I was doing things like that for her back then, and it never changed with her. It just stayed the same. Yeah. I remember when Make It Rain came out, and I'm gonna tell you, I was at the video shoot. I was on the video shoot, and when I was listening to the song. And I was there when R. Kelly was up there. He was doing this thing, and Fat Joe and Lil Wayne. And I'm like, this song is different. Like, this might, and I didn't have an idea where it was going. But I was like, I'm just sitting there. They sitting on bricks of money. And I'm like, yeah, this is, I think this is going to go south. But what happened was, after that, if you were, and no shout out, no disrespect to the big guys, I'll say, or to the ugly guys, or whatever you want to say. But, not so handsome. Let me not say ugly. Not so handsome guys. You really had to have a personality, or you had to be funny, or you had to have your stuff together. Yeah. Just something about you that you were able to attract a woman that you wanted, or that would, you saw that you can be able to, to get to. But after that video came out, it seemed like everything was just about a bag. Like, I knew girls that was with, like, I remember running into one of the models that we knew from back in the days. A very, very beautiful model. She came in the club with this guy's sneakers was like, how your feet is like this? His sneakers was turning. And I was like, I'm looking at her like, what? And she kissing on him and then... he had the diamonds on. He looked the part, but he just looked sloppy. And I was like, wow. So I'm very observant, so I started paying attention, right? So I'm looking at all of these different changes going on, and I'm like, wow, it's getting to the point where as long as you have a bag or you can provide, you're just going to be talking to anybody. And I still see it today because now, it's even more today than it was back then. Even more. Because now it's like, if you ain't give me a bag, then just step aside because I could do it for myself. And because then you have the independent women. Somebody put up a post the other day said, when you get with a person, you want them to do everything. You want them to provide for you, pay for this, pay for that, this, that, and the other when you marry somebody, right? Mm-hmm. But then when you get divorced, you want half. So you don't want to pay for nothing or want to do nothing in the relationship, but you want half at the end after all of that. Yeah. And I just thought that was crazy. I was like, this is where we at right now?
Very materialistic. Yeah. And crazy. It's the reality show culture as well. Yeah. Folks, again,
we were talking about 90 Day Fiance. Like, guys are spending, let's say the dude spent $100,000 on his fiance he never met. How is she your fiance, bro?
If you want to be a trick, no one's going to stop you. You will always find someone willing to take your money. That's not a problem.
Yes.
And again, if you are someone looking for people to give you money, there's a lot of ways to do that. We got OnlyFans. We got a lot of options right now. If you're literally just trying to take people's money, no problem. Again, these are hustles.
Yeah.
Tricking is a way for you to get what you want, normally sexually. Some folks are they have a fetish Findom, financial domination. They just like giving their money away. They don't want anything in return. That's another fetish. That's not most people.
I saw a guy on Instagram yesterday. He says, he looked at a bunch of baddies, as he called them, and he just sent them it was like $250. Everybody just $250 all the way down. This is how you get the baddies. And he had like 40 lines of giving girls $250 a piece. And I was like, what? I'm old school. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. I don't understand it.
And that really isn't most people though. So you're always going to have outliers, which are people saying, okay, I only want this. I don't want anything else from you but this. There's definitely people like that.
Right.
That's not everyone. And I want folks to know it's still out there. If you're looking for something real that's not transactional, it is still out there. Unfortunately, it might be harder to find because of all of the BS on top of it that you have to dig through and sift through. Yeah. I'm trying to provide that outlet with the Fox Hunters Club. If you want something real, not transactional, no one's asking. Matter of fact, it's prohibited on my site to ask for money, to ask for gifts. All of that will get you banned. And please report and block. So it's one of the outlets for folks who feel that way. There's some other kind of Instagram pages and websites like that that are promoting marriage and commitment and healthy black families and things like that. But the other voices are so loud that those other traditional or healthy relationship, as I call it, voices get drowned out, unfortunately.
Yeah, you mentioned that, you were single when you started it.
Yeah.
But now you're not.
Right.
Did you use an app or did you meet this person in real life?
Met in a very traditional way. My cousin introduced me. So you can't get no more old school than that with the family member recommendation.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Because, I looked at it, when I met my wife, I actually met her sister first. I was going to holler at her sister, but my man cut my throat. So, the best thing he ever did.
Yeah.
I swear, he's the best thing he ever did. He cut my throat, and then she said, "Oh, I got a sister for you." And then one day I saw her sister, and I was like, "Oh man, your sister told me about you, this, that," and I'm trying to holler at her, and she's standing there looking at me crazy. She was like, "I got a boyfriend." So I'm like, I look at her sister like, "So how you got a sister for me, but she got a man?"
Right.
So I was like, all right. So I waited like 6 months, and she finally called, and she didn't have a man anymore, so she called, and that was 96, and we've been together ever since.
That's a beautiful story.
Oh, it's a great story. It's a great story. And
you said 28 years?
Yeah, 28 years. And she's like my best friend. We laugh and joke. And I just said this in the interview yesterday. I was like, I used to like going out and partying and doing all this stuff. I went out the other day to Taj and celebrate her sister's birthday. And I literally walked into like a young crowd. When I mean young, I mean 20s, not even 30s.
Yeah.
It might have been some 30s in there, but mostly 20s. And everybody was twerking. It was like 30 girls twerking, and the girls were on the floor. They had on mini skirts, but the mini skirt was riding up, and they didn't want to pull it down. Their cheeks was hanging out, and I'm just looking. I'm like, I would never talk to anyone. Like, this doesn't do anything for me. But, we were there, and I was just like, the scene has changed. You really gotta find a age appropriate club to go to, especially when you're older. I don't mind partying with younger people, but just give me some older people so I don't feel like I'm the old guy at the club. You know what I'm saying? But the what I was gonna say was, when you go out, I'd rather go home on a Friday night, sit down on the couch with wifey, find something on Netflix or streaming something or whatever, and watch a movie, and I have just as much fun as if I go out.
Yeah.
But even when I do go out, I take my wife. People are like, "Oh, you take your wife." First of all, I'm not getting in no trouble.
Yeah.
She knows where I'm at. We're partying together. We're having fun together. We're watching each other's back. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I have nothing to hide. So I'm having fun. So why not? What am I supposed to do? Go to a club and talk to somebody else by myself? Mm-hmm. That's potentially could get me in trouble. People could take a picture. I could look like I'm doing something that I'm really not, but in the picture it may look like it. So I have so much fun with it. And I'm happy that I found somebody like that. You know what I'm saying? That covers all the bases. Now, you're not going to get 100%, but she give me, I usually say 80-20. She got about 90. Yeah. 90-10. You know what I'm saying?
I love that.
Yeah.
90 is a good number.
Yeah, she got about 90-10. It's not even 80-20. She's, she's there, and it works for me. So.
Yeah, I'm going to do in real life events as well. Mm-hmm. There's definitely a lot of folks who do not want to be on dating apps, especially when you start talking about older people. Mm-hmm. A lot of them are very anti-dating app.
Yeah, because some of them are not computer savvy like we think they are.
That too. And just not comfortable with it. Figure it's going to be scammers or whatever the case. So for those people, catfish. Mm-hmm. I'm going to have in-person events, hosting myself, as well as sponsoring events, getting folks out in public, in real life, face-to-face to meet. And again, still having that messaging that's reflective of the app and my mission and people that I want on the app. So it's going to be certain types of curated events where folks who are like-minded can come together and meet in person. Because I think that's the club aspect also of Fox Hunters Club.
Yeah, so where can people find your app?
It's available in the App Store and in Google Play. So whether you have an Android or you have an iPhone, you can download the Fox Hunters Club.
Oh, man. I'm interested just to download. I might download it just to look at it and see.
Thank you. Yeah, give me feedback.
And then I'll tell some people back, hey, you need to check out this ad. You having trouble? Listen, there. My friend Brownie got an app here that you may be able to use.
Absolutely, especially the demographic of like your friends' age and whatnot. Definitely, please recommend. And foxhuntersclub.com if people want more information.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. A lot of people need to do things like that, and what works is when you provide a service or something that people don't have and can really need, and that they really need. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was saying that about the clothing. We were lucky to do clothing because clothing is something that people constantly need. Yep. Excuse me. So we have been blessed in that area because we provided a service that people need all the time. Wow. This is. I'm gonna take a look at it, Brownie.
Thank you.
I'm gonna put it out there for you. I'm gonna tell all my people who are out there, searching. Even my homegirl, because she's.
Yes.
She needs to find somebody. She needs to really get back out there. A lot of people are also scared of getting out there. You know, I don't know if it's a fear of being disappointed or a fear of wasting their time. Yep. Because I know a few people who constantly went out and tried to like be in the mix and come back and be like, oh, I'm done with that. Yeah. But tell people if you got anything else going on that you want people to know.
So I'm plugging the New York, New Jersey area right now. Mm-hmm. Tell a friend to tell a friend, Fox Hunters Club. Okay. I am going to be rolling out. Should I announce it now? I might as well announce it.
Announce it.
You can be the first to hear.
Let me know.
Next city is going to be Philly.
Okay.
So stay tuned for timing on that, rollouts, events, etc. And Philly's going to be the next market. And I'm not going to reveal where I'm going after Philly, but that's the first time I've announced FUBU Radio, first to know.
Philly, we're coming next. You heard it right here on FUBU Radio, Mr. Kizo's Corner. Definitely. Brownie, tell them where they can find you.
You can find Fox Hunters Club on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You can find me, Brownie Marie, on Instagram, and MZ_Brownie on Twitter. Well, X now, right? Not even Twitter.
X, right? We still can't get used to that X thing. Well, thank you for stopping by. I'm looking forward to seeing what your app does, and I'm going to definitely spread the word for you and get that out there for you. And it's been a pleasure. Good seeing you again.
Great
last time I saw you, you were interviewing me.
That's right.
And now I'm interviewing you.
How dope is that?
Hey, full circle, right?
Boom. All
right. Another episode, Kizo's Corner, with my girl Brownie Marie. Thank you once again for pulling up on me. We out. All right. Peace.